Hi, it's Ryan from Fowler Photography, and in this video I'm going to be showing you probably one of the easiest things for landscape and cityscape photographers to do inside of Photoshop, and that is flipping and mirroring an image. Alright, so this technique is where you take a shot of maybe an icon or something, like I've got a shot here from a recent trip to Vivid in Sydney, and I'm going to take the Sydney Opera House and I'm going to flip it. And what I'll do is I'm going to take the top half, which is the Opera House, and flip and mirror it so that it looks like a complete copy underneath. And this is probably one of the easiest and quickest things that you can do inside of Photoshop. I'll even show you how to do a little bit of sharpening as well, just to finish it off that tiny bit more. Okay, so I've got the image here and you can see that it's nice and sharp, and I've filled just the top half of the frame with the Opera House because I knew that I wanted to copy and flip it. So all of this here I'm going to be taking and dropping underneath. Now, to get this across into Photoshop, you can either right click and simply hit edit in and open in Adobe Photoshop. But I've already done that and I used the quick key to do it. Keyboard shortcut, that's the word I was looking for. Keyboard shortcut to do it, which is Command E on a Mac or Control E on a PC. So this has opened it up here in its own little layer inside of Photoshop. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command J or Control J on a PC to simply copy the layer. I never really want to work on the background layer so that I can always revert back to the very beginning if I need to. So I've created an exact duplicate of this background layer in layer 1. Now here is the bit that is very quick, very easy, and gives some great results. Up here I'm going to come up to the rectangle selection tool, or you can press M on the keyboard. Now you can see here that there's a clear line going across there, and that's the line that I want to try and keep inside of this rectangle. So I'm going to try and go about there, and it looks like I've got it about right. I'm just going to drag this until it fills the top half of this frame. Now we've got this selection here. So on the keyboard I'll press Command C to copy and then Command V to paste. Now that has created this as its own unique layer, but only that top half selection. And if you're on a PC, press Control C and Control V to copy and paste. Alright, so with this top half layer selected, I'll come up here to the Move tool with the 4 arrows, and with all of these corner points come up now, all I'm simply going to do is drag the top point down and flip it until it gets to the very bottom. And you can see how much of an impact that's really had. I'll hit the little tick up here, and there it is. That is our flipped image. I'm pretty happy with that. I'd be pretty hard pressed not to like that. I'm a fan of how these look, but only in certain types of shots. So if you wanted to really take this one step further, and I'm quite happy with how this image looks as it is, I'd be happy with this. But if you want to take it one step further, go back to the Move tool, and you can drag the corner sides across now, and you can actually flip it completely. Now that has put it off a little bit. You can see that there's a tiny bit of stuff in there, so you could move that up just to avoid that, but I'm just going to hit the cancel button so it flips it back to the way that I want it to go. Now I am very happy with this. One last thing that I usually do as soon as I take any image into Photoshop is, with this top layer selected on the keyboard, I'll press Command Option Shift E or Control Alt Shift E on the keyboard. That is going to merge all the layers into one complete layer up the top. Now this is where I do just a little bit of sharpening. So if I go Filter, Other, High Pass. Now with this high pass filter, you want the details to be selected. So you can see here on this little square that if I drag it around a little bit, it'll show what the detail is like. Now if you go too far, you can see that it's got this real sort of chromatic-y aberration type thing. That's taking it way too far. So I'll bring it back down to about 0.9. You can see that that has gone, and all you can see is just the detail. Now there will be a little tiny bit around some of these really bright contrasty areas, but that's okay. If I hit OK now, that is going to apply that sharpening mask. If I drop the overlay to overlay, or the blend mode, sorry, change that to overlay, and if I just zoom in, just pressing Command plus on the keyboard, I zoom in, you can turn it off and on, and you can see that in all of these fine details, you can see that it's really just been brought out that little bit more, and it makes for nicer sharpening than what Lightroom does. So I'm happy with this. All I'll do is press Command S or Control S on the keyboard to save that back across into Lightroom. I'll give it a moment just to save, and here it is, our final photograph from this little tutorial. You can see that it's a very quick, very simple technique to be able to flip and mirror these images inside of Photoshop, and they give such an amazing result, especially compared to what the original looked like, which was this. So going from that with no detail, no real structure or color in the foreground, to creating a very dynamic and interesting image. Now people will know that it is photoshopped because that is the only way to get a perfect reflection like that. And I've seen some people where they've actually blurred the bottom, but that is just to give it a more realistic, mirrored look, although it is still a Photoshop creation. I hope you enjoyed this really quick tutorial. If you found it interesting and you'd like to learn more about Photoshop and different photography techniques, please head on over to the website from the link in the description down below, where you can find the link to the new focal length blending e-course. If you've been disappointed with some of your wide angle images before, try this course out. It's very affordable and you'll find some great value inside of it. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next video.